What if the version of you that keeps failing was never actually you? It was just a program running on repeat. Here's the part that stings a little. You can change your job, your relationships, your routine, and still get the same results because you never changed the program running underneath all of it. In this video, I'm giving you the 4 steps that actually rewrite it. And I'm saving the last one for the end because it's the one almost nobody does right, and it's the one that actually flips the switch. Most of who you are right now was installed, not chosen. Family, environment, repeated experiences from childhood, they wrote a kind of internal program, and that program quietly decides what feels normal for you. Normal levels of money, normal relationships, normal outcomes when you try something new. Here's the trap almost everyone falls into. They try to change their circumstances instead of changing the identity that's producing those circumstances. You get a new job, but the same self-doubt follows you into it. You meet a new partner, but you show up with the same patterns. That's because circumstances are downstream. The identity is upstream. And weirdly, obsessively focusing on what you want can backfire. It just reinforces over and over that you don't have it yet. So the real question isn't, what do I want? It's, who would already have this, and am I acting like that person? Step 1, let go of the story you keep repeating. Your past only has power over you because of the meaning you've attached to it, not because of what actually happened. If your internal script sounds like, I'm not naturally talented, or my childhood ruined me, or I've always failed at this, that's not a fact. That's a story. And stories can be rewritten without changing a single event that happened to you. Same facts, different meaning. My struggles made me resilient. My hardships prepared me for this. My past is proof I can get through hard things. Your old identity feels comfortable because it protects you from the risk of trying and failing. But that protection has a price. It also keeps you exactly where you are. You genuinely cannot walk into a new life while you're still gripping the old story with both hands. Step 2, decide nothing is bigger than you. Most people unconsciously rank things above themselves. The goal, the challenge, the person who already made it. As if those things exist on a higher shelf they're not allowed to reach. Flip it. Your goals aren't bigger than you. Successful people aren't a different species. They're just people who've had different experiences and made different decisions. And obstacles only become bigger than you the moment you decide they are. The size of a problem is mostly a story you're telling about it, not a fixed property of the problem itself. The mindset to borrow here is simple. No matter what happens, I'll find a way through. That one sentence is the difference between a victim mindset and a mindset of actual agency. It doesn't promise an easy path. It promises you're not going to fold. And this is exactly the mindset that makes step 3 possible, which again is the one I want you to really sit with because it's coming up next. Quick pause. If step 1 or 2 already hit something for you, drop a like. Step 3. Become the version of you who already has it. This is the one almost everyone skips because it feels backwards. Most people wait for better equipment, more money, more confidence, better timing, before they'll let themselves act like the person they want to become. Flip the order. Start the business before conditions feel perfect. Make the content with whatever camera or phone you already own instead of waiting for the right setup. Respond to a hard conversation the way your future self would respond, today, not once you feel ready. You've probably seen this play out publicly too. Plenty of high-performing athletes talk about identifying as champions long before there was any external evidence to justify it. That's not arrogance for its own sake. It's identity leading and results following behind. Identity first, reality second. That order almost never reverses. Step 4. Guard what you feed the new identity. Here's the step people skip completely, and it's probably the most practical one in this whole video. You can do the internal work. Rewrite the story, decide nothing's bigger than you, act like the person who already has it, and still get pulled backward because every day you're feeding your mind a steady diet of inputs that reinforce the old identity without you even noticing. The content you scroll, the people you vent to, the conversations where you explain, again, why you're still stuck. Remember, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's true and what's repeated. So if you spend 20 minutes visualizing the new version of you, and then spend the next 3 hours consuming content, conversations, or comparisons that quietly whisper, "You're behind. You're not that person. This isn't for people like you." The repetition wins. And there's simply more of it on the old side of the ledger. This isn't about cutting off every person in your life or pretending problems don't exist. It's narrower than that. It's noticing which specific inputs keep narrating the old identity back to you and deliberately reducing your exposure to them. The accounts that make you compare instead of build. The group chat that only talks about what's wrong. The habit of retelling your setbacks to anyone who'll listen. And on the other side, deliberately increasing exposure to whatever reflects the identity you're building. People already living close to what you want. Content that assumes progress instead of doubting it. Conversations where you talk about your plans like they're already in motion. You're not just changing what you think, you're changing what your mind gets fed all day, every day, without your permission, and putting yourself back in charge of that. Here's the part that trips people up and makes them quit right before it works. Your external world does eventually reflect your internal identity, but there's usually a delay, a gap between the internal shift and the external evidence catching up. Don't read that gap as failure. Don't take unchanged circumstances as proof it isn't working. Use that exact window as practice, a chance to respond differently than your old self would have, before there's any reward for doing it yet. That's the rep that actually counts. The actual method, how the brainwashing works. I'm using that word on purpose because that's really what this is, repeatedly reinforcing a new identity until it overwrites the old programming. It happens through changing your self-talk, changing your routines, changing your reactions, and consistently recommitting every single time you slip. The pattern is, notice the old habit the second it shows up. Interrupt it before it runs on autopilot. Return to the identity you're building instead. That's it. Not perfect execution, just that loop repeated enough times that it stops requiring effort. Here's the piece that ties this whole thing together. Your comfort zone was never actually about comfort. It's just familiarity, and your brain has been mistaking familiar for safe this entire time. Growth means stepping into discomfort on purpose, over and over, until the new identity is the one that feels normal, until the new version of you is simply who you are, not who you're trying to become. So here's the real framework. Release the old story. Decide nothing. No goal, no obstacle, no other person's success is bigger than you. Act consistently as the person who already has the life you're building toward, even before the evidence shows up. And guard what you feed that new identity every single day, because repetition always wins, whichever side it's on. Before you go, which of these 4 steps do you think you've been skipping without realizing it? Tell me in the comments, I want to know. If this reframed something for you, send it to someone who's waiting for the right conditions instead of starting now. If this video helped you, make sure to like it, and don't forget to subscribe. In the upcoming videos, we'll go deeper into how to actually change your identity across different areas of your life.